Hello and welcome to something different from my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction video for a ladder race. Now I know it says Art Isotopes versus Spicy Bunch, but it's actually, ignore that, that's Backpedal 2. Pretty cool intro, this one. Not as good as Downtown, but I'll give it props. Good work, David. Boom. Just a bit of a preface to this video. Hopefully no one gets offended for this video. All I'm doing is just providing a little bit of insight into my thoughts on these ladder races. Remember, I'm sitting here, Ben in the shed. Heart rate is, I don't know, it's definitely not 180 beats per minute. So I've got plenty of time to think about these tactics. Whereas in the heat of the battle, things happen. And so, yeah, bear this in mind when we're watching this back, that some of the things that people would do, it's understandable because they're racing as hard as they can. It's much easier to sit here and criticize. But let's just get to the criticism anyway. But it's got a nice setup. It's got a green screen that just requires us a little bit of tweaking. I should make a video on how to tweak your green screen. I think he's riding a watt bike. I was interested in this video is because of David does something cool with source. But here we go. Now, it's always good when someone does the pairing screen during the stream because you can have a little bit of a sneaky look. So he's using a watt bike for control and power, and he's got steering, and obviously using his heart rate monitor. Doesn't actually say which one it is. My one shows Polar H10. Give me sponsorship and free stuff. Okay, so he's making sure everything's connected. Nothing worse than leaving the pen or not leaving the pen.
Do you all know who we're following?
Okay, here we go. Now this is really simple and really important, and quite a good thing that they're doing. They're going, okay, let's follow riders. So this is why I've got this and this. Okay, if you're not fancy and can't afford, what is it? I don't know what this was $2 or something, and you need a bit of paper. Get a bit of paper and pen and write this down. Are you ready? All right.
Ed, you're following Zwift.
Zwift? Yeah. I was just double checking.
Pete, you're following Raynham.
Okay, Ed's following Swift, not Zwift. Pete's following Raynham, senior hate train.
Ali, you're following Hanky, but
Ali's following Hanky.
AJ, you're following Skwarshek.
Okay, AJ is going to follow. We're not going to say Schwar. I can't pronounce it. I don't want to insult you, Gareth. All right, and then David must be following.
Who's following Little Jan?
I think Skwarshek is Little Inn. And I'm following Raynham.
Wait a second.
I think Skwarshek is Little Raynham.
Following Raynham?
Anyone left over, isn't it?
I can't see a list of names in it. I'm assuming
Wait
Swift
a sec. Who was following Raynham?
To some degree.
Pete, you're following Raynham.
Wait.
And I'm following Raynham.
No, you're not. Anyway.
I think Skwarshek is Little Raynham. It has to be, because that's the only one left over, isn't it?
No.
I can't see a list of names in it. I'm assuming Swift is called Swift to some description.
Little E and...
Swift is called Phil. Phil's
Alright, so let's sort this out.
We've only got 30 seconds to go.
Right, so I'm not Little Jan, I'm Hanky. Keep it together for the first half. They are really going for us.
Alright.
Sugar, we're gonna...
So, 6 seconds to go. We're not quite sure who's following Hanky. Was that Ali that said that? Who was on... No one's on Little Ian at the moment.
Right, now, aren't we?
Alright, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah,
So we're missing Little Ian. We've got 5 riders following, well, 2 of them are following.
Jesus.
Oh, there go, we got stuck in gear 6. Shit.
Alright, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. So, 3 backpedal riders have boosted out of the start pen.
Cheeky. I'm on him.
Okay, so it's up. Now this is... Who's at the back? Is it AJ? No, it's
We
not
all on?
AJ. Who's at the back?
No, I'm off the back.
Oh, it's Ed.
Oh yeah, we're stuck in gear 6.
Okay, so
Shit. Stand up and give it a boot,
Closing,
Ed.
mate. I'm closing.
okay, so now this is probably got a little bit too far. If you go back a little bit, okay, so see how they're all pretty bunched up, and one of their riders is way off the back. So to help out that rider getting back, they need to stretch it out. You've got 3 riders here all bunched up within about 2 meters each other. You get 5 meters gap between there, and you've got 15 meters less distance than that rider has to chase to get back on. So if you do find that one of your teammates has dropped, stretch it out like you do for the TTs. It's been 34 seconds. That's how long it takes him to get back on.
Stand up and give it a boot,
Closing,
Ed.
mate.
Good advertising for Watt bikes. All right, so
Right, extend the line. Extend the line.
all right, so he's just got getting back on now. It's been 51 seconds from, not even from the pen, because you do 10 seconds or so before you even hit the start. So that's a minute and 10 seconds or so that you've been busting your ass. Maybe I should write down, don't swear on that thing. Ed's already burned a lot of matches just to get on the group. His rollers are very difficult to ride through. It's very easy to
Where I would counter attack after that start. Then.
use up a lot of energy.
We're at the dizzy heights of 6 viewers.
Probably the burritos. Hey, this is where I saw it on the burrito Discord.
That's the 5 of them and someone else.
Okay.
Just ready to.
All right. So I was mentioning it before. This is the reason why I like this stream, is because David's got this cool little source app that has the live ladder results as they stand. So it's going to always be mixed up. But the good thing is later on you'll be able to see where they stand in the situation.
Watch our potential first loss. Let's hope not. But
Now, with the ladder races, it's finish points only. There's no points for segments.
watch out for a push on the
So
little
it's pretty
rolls.
simple. Just get to the line first. All right, so Gareth is pushing it pretty hard at the front. Got a little gap. But, okay, so in this situation, if you got a rider off the front, Hankey's sitting in a second wheel, basically dragging them along. Good thing about David's got the draft meter. Now, we can go back a bit. Hankey's giving 108 watts draft here that David can use to try and just keep within touch of Gareth. Shane Miller makes a living out of reviewing trainers and power meters and accuracy. And if he had a trainer that overread by 108 watts, he'd make a very entertaining but also a very angry video, probably aimed at Shimano. You don't want to give 108 watts to your opposition. 108 watts is he's doing 235, so he's almost got another 50% of that. Like, imagine if a trainer overread by 50%. I'm going to have a drink every time I see someone on the front when they shouldn't be on the front. Lucky I've got tea, not alcohol. We've got steering on David's, so obviously he's going to lose the draft as he cuts the corners. But 100, see, a lot of watts. Okay, so now Gareth is not pushing hard here, but of course at the same time he's still just dragging riders across to him. All right.
Someone's going.
Little Ian's
No,
gone.
they're not.
No, he's not.
No, this is
Although he's staying on 4 on the front.
this is typical Little Ian, I think, from what I've seen. He always put a little
Trying to
burst
work
in.
out what headgear your guys have got. We've got 2 off the front of it.
All right. Now Hankey's gone over the top, so Little Ian provided a little launch pad. I'm not sure if that was deliberate. That was pretty good though. A little launch. So who's got Hankey? Ali's got Hankey, AJ's got Gareth, David's got Raynham.
Hello there.
For those who don't follow, David Raynham's one of our teammates. Carl's son. So David's closed the gap, but where's now, this is a good time for Ali to go over the top.
Lead rider 1.
Ali's there, but he's only doing
Leave the front one.
3.8.
Yeah.
Oh, back pedals on the front. Is that you don't want to be on the front whilst Hankey is making attack. Another back pedal. I think that's hate train, senior hate train.
They're sending another one.
It's not as bad actually. I probably shouldn't have drunk. If he can get away over to Hanky,
Have to mark a second.
Yeah.
but no, he's pulled out.
I'm on him.
Pulled out. That's smart. I was actually wasn't senior hate trainer. It was little Ian. I think that's his little Ian's way of riding. I don't think he deliberately got to the front. Hanky's got 4-second gap. I'd be yelling at my team if they was third wheel because you still get it giving the fourth wheel a draft. After the fourth wheel, then it's fine. You can sit, but I don't want any riders in first, second, or third.
Down so.
It's a little bit tricky through this section because it is rollers, so you can easily roll to the front. So I do give a bit of leeway here.
Get a second by not working.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's still.
Let that first guy take turns a little bit on the front, but not much. Let that first guy burn himself out a bit.
This is where there's a real skill in just doing enough to stay at the back and not roll through. That's some of the. That's one of the, okay. All right, now it's not so rolly. And we've got 2 back pedals on the front giving David a draft.
Putting some serious kicks around those corners.
Back pedal's gone to the front again. Who is it? Oh, Gareth. Gareth. So we've got back pedal chasing back pedal. To his credit, Hanky's got 10 seconds gap. They're not pushing it in this group.
Bluetron is my guy.
Now, this is one of the issues if you go into the start of the race with each person signing a rider. At the moment, none of the other riders in the team are worried about the rider getting away because it's not their man. So, as I have up on this board, the only person whose man it is Ali, and Ali doesn't seem to be concerned or is not in the position to chase. Maybe he's just buggered from the start, which is understandable. I know how that feeling is. But this is where you need to communicate with the team. Not sure if Ali had mic issues. If they wait too long, that 10-second gap's going to grow too big. It's better off now to do a 5-man TTT and close that gap down. You might drag across Backpedal, but in these races, look at the points. First place gets 12, second 10. There's 2 extra points that weighted heavily towards first place.
The guy up front's on 4.7 watts per kilogram average. He's going pretty deep into the tank.
This is where source is good and bad. There's a lot of data that they're looking at, but they're not looking up the road and seeing the gap. Just close that gap.
I just leave him.
Have to leave him all the way out there. Do you want to close it up a bit?
No.
Yeah, they're talking about it now.
No. Leave him up.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him to come first. So I think we'll get second. As long as we're 5 before in the second pack. We've got the better sprinters.
And we almost want them to leave one of their top riders away.
Okay, so
Makes it less likely for the others to get away.
that's not a bad plan as long as you got the sprinters. But
Just means the end result will be closer.
if you're relying on to be
As long as we get second, it's critical. We get second now.
if you're relying on it to be a pack finish, you want it to be as slow a race as possible. I don't like them leaving Hanky go away, but they've decided that, so that's. So now we've got to think about plan B. How are we going to make sure that, well, if you're Art, I'm viewing this from Art's because we're obviously riding from Art's position. So backpedalers, don't get the shits with me.
My sources back. They look quite fresh. The guy that I'm marking from the same as
And
me.
we've got a
is the white
street
helmet.
sweeper. I'll turn my volume down while the street sweeper's on.
Yeah, my guy's got like a pink hat on.
Phil Swift looks pretty good at the moment.
Yeah. He's likely to be the next to go, surely.
Scorch check looks like the
Who's marking Swift?
Me.
Who's one got away?
It's
Sorry,
Hanky.
got
I don't know
away?
who had Hanky, but I don't know who had Hanky.
Okay, this is why simple technology. Even if
So
you
we know
just
AJ is on
pen and paper, write it down.
your squad. We know Zwift is marked by Pete, is that? Yeah, it's Pete. Who have you got? You're on mute again.
I've got Raynham.
Okay, so
You've got Rainer.
What?
Which means adding a kind of-
spending a lot of energy now working out who's got who when they could just have it written down. Nick,
So do you think
you'd
Swift's
appreciate
fresh?
this.
Whoever's hasn't got a man, double up on Zwift.
Nick Brambles, a
What's the
big,
next one to go?
big white ball fan. And a spreadsheet fan, but we
Yeah,
banned him
I'm
from
up
using
to go
spreadsheets in our
I'm
team.
up for going with whoever goes up front next. Anyone attacks, I'm up for going with them.
Yeah, got a second rider on him as well, if we need.
I don't think we've found out who's following Little Ian yet. I don't think anyone is.
Anna, you're the floating man at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, your guy's gone.
Sounds good to me.
David's a lot more relaxed than I am. I'd be going, Ali, that's your man down the road. David's just sitting there.
This
He
is
knows
weird,
it's
I'm steering
Ali's
again.
man, but Backpedal, what are you doing on the front? Don't get in second wheel. Don't get in third wheel. We've got 4 backpedalers here. So basically, we've got a backpedaler down the road, 35 seconds. Okay, fair enough. They're probably not going to catch him, but still, you've got the bulk of the backpedal team right in the middle of the bunch, providing a draft to 1, 2. Again, as I say, it's 100 watts that you're giving them.
That's 2, isn't it? Yeah.
Now it's 140 watts.
We should be alright for doing that.
We could try and break them up and over the climb.
Okay, so they're
Well,
talking about...
let's just see, because we can always throw a second one out there ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so the tactics
If we
now have gone
think it's
from...
too late, we've got a rider that we can grow.
Yeah, Ed.
gone from doing a sprint finish to try and get second and third and hopefully fourth to throwing a second rider out there and make it harder. Now, sprint finishes, if you want to win a sprint finish, you want to make it, and you've got good sprinters, you want to make it
Yeah,
slow.
that guy's taken out 30 seconds.
You don't want your
40
sprinters
seconds now.
tired.
Yeah, he's
So
pushing
I'm
it
not
for
happy with
0.6,
this.
0.7 watts at the moment.
Trying to
Yeah,
throw a
he's-
guy
he's
out
still
to
averaged
get
4.5
second
for
place.
the whole race, so.
That's a lot of energy just to
10
get
minutes in,
second
we're not
place
that going.
from your
Cat 4.
teammates.
Cat 4.
I'm a capstick, so I understand that.
I'm willing to be proven wrong, but at the moment I think results-based is diabolical.
I'll leave that for another video.
Watch out for the burritos.
Powerups, if anyone
Burritos.
throws burritos in our team, talk about it.
Yeah, I got Anvil.
I've got Anvil.
Got burrito.
I've got Burrito.
The best team name ever.
If you've got an Anvil, pop it just before the top one.
Okay,
Just
so
before we come off the aqueduct, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the power-ups are Anvil and Burrito.
We
Yeah.
can use our burritos to break you away. Just be aware that they can do the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
We could put the guys behind you to break away with a burrito. Create a line of burritos, but then you use the burrito lane. We can just put rolling burritos in. Get you away.
I've got an Anvil, though.
okay, so here we go on
Mine's
attack.
gone.
We'll talk about burritos
Attack.
after.
Zwift.
No,
Swift, not Zwift, is on the attack.
Right, leave 2 on him.
Yeah.
Everyone else stop. No. Leave 3 out. What's the second?
That's
That's needed. Behind as well.
That was a good call. I'm not sure who it was because it's hard to work out with the Discord. Everyone's lighting up all the time from their breathing. They can get second and third. This is where I do agree with maybe splitting the race up. Pete needs to back off. Carl Raynham sitting on Pete's wheel. So Pete needs to back off. He's doing 4.1. So he's 13 metres behind. Now, it's probably a little bit late now. It's very difficult to pick this up. But if you can pick that up as quick as you can, then it makes a big difference because then instead of Pete bringing across Gareth and Raynham, then they've got to chase this down. Well, they don't have to, but if they don't chase this down, then they've got 2 versus 1 Well, Art, I've got 2 versus 1. All right, so Pete backed off. Here comes Raynham.
Watch out for the second attack.
This is a great time to attack when you're chasing down a group and you got the momentum. Let's see if I think Carl's doing 2.2 now. I can forgive him for not continuing the attack. That's the kind of thing that I do. But if you're a strong rider, this is a perfect time just to keep that power down, just to put some hurt on. You don't have to get away, but put some hurt on for the guys who are trying to chase.
I've got you, little Jan. Use the burrito on him if you want.
Yeah, I've got him.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah, so this is very typical of when the races go hard, when there's little breaks. People put a lot of effort in to get back on and then overshoot the group. If you can back off well before you get to the group and just sort of overshooting the group, you just back off and you just attach yourself to the group. You save yourself 50 watts over that 10-15 seconds easily. Probably even more, probably 100 watts. And no science, bro science there.
Be careful, he might be trying to tire us out just before the climb as well, yeah?
Okay, so Hankey's got 33 seconds. That's pretty much, he's gone. Unless he blows up severely, but I don't think he's going to. So it doesn't really matter if Backpedal get on the front now. They're not going to bring Hankey back. And if Backpedal can now do attacks and send another rider or 2 riders up the road, then it's game over. I'm still not a big fan about cutting corners because you can see how many watts David lost around that corner and he started going backwards even though he cut the corner. I think this is a tactic that people use to try and
Make concentrate on racing.
make it, yeah, exactly. Concentrate on racing, don't type. It's either a chance to make the race easier because people are typing or to make an attack.
Watch out for the attacks coming into the climb.
It's the Zwift version of riding up a climb and asking someone a very difficult question. Asking what they do for work as you're doing a climb.
I'm listening to what we're chatting about.
Well, live it won't make a difference if he's 5 minutes late. Or whatever it is like.
Have I got this stream at the highest level? I should make another video about that. Oh, it's 1440.
So he's settled back down out front to just under 4.
So David does the other thing too. Well, he streams in 1440. Here we go. Stats for nerds. You want that VP09 codec.
And then it's rise, flat, rise.
To get that codec, you need to stream in 1440p or 4K, not 1080p. 1080p is for amateurs. Don't at me.
What do we want to do? Do you think? Do you want to put some pressure on them, or we just stay with them?
No.
Stay with them. Okay.
No.
They've got their guy out the front there.
Yeah.
Basically just going to counter anything we do and maybe chuck a couple as the race always on.
Backpedal's in the box seat here. All they're going to do is just...
If they throw an attack in, we can counter it if Pete and Ed are feeling happy. Otherwise, nothing.
I was going to say that's what Backpedal should do. Just wait for attacks and then counter. Art on the back foot. I personally wouldn't make this race as slow as
What's really
possible.
important is that the 3 of us are aware when Pete and Ed, yeah?
You don't want to make this race hard because you...
Pete, do you want to
they want to
counter or
sprint.
do you want to close the first one?
What we want to do is, whoever's got a burrito goes with Pete and Ed a little bit, stays behind, just pops the burrito. The guys behind pushing, I'll have nothing to...
Okay, so we're talking about burritos before we've got sidetracked. So they're talking about rolling burritos. It's very difficult, I think. I've never seen a team actually do it. I honestly just think to spin the burrito, unless you're in a very specific situation. The only time I've ever actually successfully used a burrito was a long time ago. You're more than likely than not, it's not gonna work. All the rest of the times have been complete failure. And it actually took me a long time to work out that you don't get any draft at all when you use a burrito as well. So it's utterly pointless, really. Just put it in the bin.
Catch up.
See where we're at after the common then. See whether it's worth chasing number one.
Yeah.
And be aware, I think it's worth using burritos at the top so that we get another power up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try and use my angle before the arch.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
You know, the powers are pretty useless on this course. Burrito, which is useless. Anvil, this course is dead flat. It's useless.
It's the sharp one, this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Gareth is gone. Okay, so burritos. This is a good thing about David having his sauce up. At the moment, he's getting 0 draft. Everyone around him is getting 0 draft. This is the only time that it's good, is if you're Gareth and you're just sprinting away. So his teammates have thrown the burritos. I'm sorry, Art, for saying this, but it's really dumb because what you're doing, instead of being able to use your team, this is a team race. Use your strong sprinter and draft off him. At the moment, David's not getting a draft. It's an individual time trial race right now. This is all about your sprinting power. There's nothing tactical here. You're not drafting. Don't use the burrito. You just hurt your teammates here. Now, I don't know if Gareth's going to get away because it's very difficult to get away, but we'll see. Pete has thrown the burrito. Now, it's not helping Zwift, not Zwift, but also it's not helping himself either. He's not getting any draft from his teammate who's chasing it down, so he's doing an individual time trial still. David's not getting any draft either. It's quite far back. Look how far back that is. It's pretty surprising. I would have thought before source that potentially, because he's outside, I think it's a 5 meter, and Zwift said something about 5 meters or something radius. I would have thought that Swift, not Zwift, was giving David a draft here, but he's not. So yeah, burritos, chuck him in the bin. And now this is how many watts? 127 that he could have been having for the last 15 seconds or so, at least.
Oh, I didn't get another one.
Yeah, you will. That just takes a while for it to do the spinny, David. There we go.
Oh yeah, I did.
I've got another anvil.
Okay, so the anvil, he threw the anvil at the banner. So for those racing in these courses with they'd like to see how long the anvil lasts for.
I got a burrito.
Use it now.
Pretty useless. Not worth it, is it?
Yeah, he's back on. We got him, don't we?
All right, there's a little break. Who's that? That's Swift, not Zwift. There he goes, Raynham with the anvil. I don't think it's making a attack because it's the anvil. But this is where senior hate train, if you just put a little bit of effort, just a little bit longer, you would have had a little bit more of a gap because you had really good momentum. Maybe you're a bit buggered having to chase back on, but if you kept it on 3 watts per kilo, you would have had that momentum. Would have made it a little bit more difficult for the chasers. As it is, it's been in the shed, easy to say.
No.
Do as I say, not what I do.
Sprint coming up.
Only use the anvil. Only use the anvil.
Okay, so team's been told
Don't use burrito.
not to use the burrito at the arch because you want to keep.
Well, no, keep it because don't want to use it on us.
because the anvil's useless now for the rest of the course. Burrito's still useless, but they think that they can use a burrito, so they want to keep the burritos for the finish.
That feels useless. No.
And if you've been keeping an eye on the graph, why does my voice sound terrible? If you've been keeping an eye on the graph, you would see that it's very rare that Backpedal aren't winning this race in all those positions.
19 minutes to go. Ed?
Yep.
Do you want to go solo or not?
Probably not from here.
Okay, cool.
I think more like.
That's all good. I was just checking the burrito.
Who's throwing the burrito? Pete.
Maybe
Pete, you're throwing the burrito.
I might have a leg.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're talking about throwing Ed up the road, which I disagree with. They're talking about at the beginning they wanted to have the sprinters finish.
Somebody's struggling. Our rating looks fresh.
If you want a sprinters finish, you don't send people up the road.
What about Zwift? How's he looking?
Zwift.
About the same as us. Same as AJ.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of sources, using source to see if someone else is buggered, because even looking at mine,
Everyone's coming in now.
the watt balance defaults to 20 kilojoules, 20,000 kilojoules, whatever.
Burrito with that.
That's 20 for me. It shows. So
Follow me.
now I had to adjust mine to 30
Be careful now,
because
guys. Watch this one.
Oh, here we go. I'll finish my thought before we get to this. So I default, well, everyone defaults to 20 watt balance with source. Now that's, not everyone's at 20. So if I have my source set at 20, then it looks like I'm buggered most of the race. And if someone was using that as an indicator for my ability to follow attacks, then that'd be sorely mistaken. So I don't use it to see what else other people have got, because I don't want to leave myself down that. It's just the best way to judge on someone's ability to follow attacks is if you do an attack and they follow, then they're pretty good. If you do another attack and they follow, they're pretty good. If they do an attack over the top of you and you're buggered, then they're stronger than you. But it's useless information, too much information. All right, so burritos.
Watch the counter. Counter from the back.
Okay, now let's have a look. Okay, so see the distances.
We wasted burrito with that.
Okay, so burrito's giving David no draft there. That's a long way. So keep that in mind when you burrito.
Follow me.
And you've got your teammates around you.
Be careful now, guys. Watch this one. Watch the counter. Counter from the back.
Now, slightly interesting. People might want to look
just trying to
back on that.
burrito us.
About the burrito and the angles,
And
left and
everyone
right
else.
lanes. All right. Now, generally, there's
So they range from 3.2 to 3.4. We range from 2.7
again
to
talking about.
3.2-ish.
Okay, so they're talking about Backpedal's a stronger FTP team, better threshold. So again, you don't want to make the race hard. This is when you want to make the race as slow as possible. Bring as many of your riders to the sprint as fresh as possible.
Heat as usual.
Even if you've got good sprinters, if you're buggered by the time you get to the line, then a crap sprinter's going to beat you if they've got really good threshold.
Heat the draft master.
What was that? Hanky's got 1 minute and 10 seconds. He can have a shower and a relax and a podium celebration before they get into the finish, I think. Okay. So this is one of my pet peeves is when teammates, so we've got 3 riders here, or if you check out source for them, none of them have got a draft. So they're all riding individual time trials at the moment here. One of these 2 can drop back. I think what it is just a case of just riding. There's no sort of thought, okay, how much can I save here? David's only saving 16 watts because he's just going up the middle. This is what I talk about in terms of if you're off to the left and the right, you want to drop back in line again because it comes directly behind the rider. It doesn't go out to the side very much. So this is what I'm saying. When David was in the middle there, he had 0 watts draft. So same with those riders, even this rider. So for all the backpedal riders in this group currently aren't drafting very well. They're not receiving a draft. They're doing an individual time trial at the moment. Now, they might not be pushing hard, but if you want to make the race hard, stick one rider on the front doing a proper effort and then have the other 3 recovering and then swap over just like an individual time trial. At the moment, no one's hurting anyone. They're all just wafting along. Again, 4 backpedalers doing individual time trial. I better stop because it'll take forever.
Has anyone got a burrito?
Yeah.
So, probably going to ease to the back of the group and then try and draft through and start to accelerate. I'll probably do it in about K's time or so, not bother.
Okay, that's a good tactic. If you're going to attack from the back of the group.
Go on a counter attack from me and then push past me and I'll pop the burrito.
Okay, before we get on that bit, so the reason why I'm talking about attack from the back, you got 86 watts here. So if you can use that 86 watts for as long as possible to gain speed, because the idea is you want to gain speed. So when you get to the front of the group, you're doing 5-6 kilometers an hour faster than the front riders, because the front riders will bang the power to try and catch you. But it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of power to increase your speed a few kilometers an hour. 1,000 watts will get you there pretty quick, but 1,000 watts is a lot more power than it takes to get from the back of the group to the front gaining an extra 200 watts or so with momentum. And then once you hit the front, then you can really use your power. All right, so David's talking about tactics now.
If you're going to go on a counter attack from me and then push past me and I'll pop the burrito.
Okay, so...
I'm thinking like 5 Ks, that's what, 7.5.
So
minutes?
David's going to go, and then a bit like how Hanky got away.
When he calls you 3, 2, 1, then you go.
And then when you push past me, I'll pop the burrito.
Yeah, so I'll let you...
Have you got one as well?
Dragon. No, I've got an anvil.
Okay.
I've got one.
You come as well and pop it behind me. Can you pop behind Ed?
Was Pete the one who used
I'm
his...
just going to let them chase you down.
Pete the one with the anvil?
Well, just stay on my wheel, and then when I say go past me, and I'll pop the burrito.
Yeah.
Okay, again,
There's too many afros in this pack.
everyone's just lined out.
You work out where you are.
So generally
It's the great one.
when you're thinking about doing an attack, the other team's thinking about doing an attack too.
Have you got steering, Ed?
No.
Okay.
Okay, looking at this, one of the big takeaways I'd have is for Backpedal, if they want to, I'm not sure what their tactics are here, but if they wanted to make this race in their favour because they got better threshold, instead of having always the 4 riders just wandering around the front, not working together, just roll turns like you would for an individual time trial, a team time trial. You probably use exactly the same amount of energy you are at the moment, and that would be pushing the pace a little bit harder than it is now. Not much, but it's still harder. So the guys in the pack have got to work a little bit harder. At the moment, it's just sort of meandering. For art, it's good. They want it to be as easy as possible, or they should be making it as easy as possible. We go. All right, so this is back to one of my pet hates. Gareth attacks from only the second wheel. He doesn't have that much time with this boost. You watch David. David's got 115 watts. Watch how long he has in the draft and how much those watts go up when he follows the attack. So if Gareth had dropped back, ideally you'd drop back 10, 15 meters. They might see you coming, but you've already got so much momentum. It's very difficult for them to bridge that gap.
One of them starting to go.
Watch it.
Okay, so watch the
My
watts
rider.
climb.
Yeah.
I'll take him.
Okay.
Leave him to me. Leave him to me. Leave him to me.
Yeah.
Just AJ. Just AJ.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what they're doing before, making sure that if one of the backpedalers go, that two of the art riders go. Hate train having to try and respond to the two art riders going.
Ed, we're staying on this third place rider.
To the top. To the top. Go, Pete.
So they're kicking over the top, which is good.
Go.
Hate train's done a big kick here. He sees the danger here. Both teams are doing a good job here.
Okay. Nothing's happened.
Yeah,
He's
we're
back on.
See the draft that David's getting here. Someone's burrito. I just saw it for a few seconds, not much.
As I'll ever be.
Probably burritos are pretty crap, but there's another burrito. That's a good way to slow the group down in this situation. That's probably one of the ways you could use it.
Yeah, go for Ed.
All right, so David's attacking for Ed to follow. Now, one thing I just realised then, okay, so this is where you've really got to pay attention to your momentum. I think one of the big things that people miss on Zwift is momentum. It takes a lot of energy to move a mass. And so if you've got momentum, you want to keep it. See what happens with Ed. Okay, see the white helmet? Bottom right. Watch the speed he's coming with. Look at that.
Yeah, go for Ed.
Okay, so now if Ed had that speed, I do like this tactic from David. He saw it, but it just would have been so much better if Ed had called out a little, like 10 seconds or 5 seconds beforehand, that I've got momentum. This is what we're talking about. This is a good time to attack. And so, David, you go. I'm going to grab your wheel with my momentum. And then David goes. At the moment, the problem is Ed comes through a little bit of momentum, but look at his watts. He's only doing 2.5 watts per kilo now because he's backed off. He's not getting the draft from David until David goes past his wheel. And then he's going to have to kick again hard because David's done 9.6. So watch Ed have to then kick hard again just to get on David's wheel. There we go. So he's reacted now, 7.2.
You on me?
Yeah.
Go past me on.
Okay, so this is where I do like using a rear view camera, because instead of having to ask what's going on and waiting for that response, if you're using the rear view cam, you can see what's going on and you can just blast it straight away if you can see they're still on you. At the moment, you can see what happened. He asked if he's on, but Ed didn't respond because he is riding hard. He's not betting the shed able to press pause and do this. But now he's going past David, and David's got to kick again.
I'll pop the burrito.
Yeah, so burrito.
Backing off. Go step.
Okay, so the tactic here, I'd prefer if David stays with Ed. Burrito, but because the burrito has a lot of, as you saw before, the burrito has a big difference. I mean, a big distance that it still affects. So I'd prefer for David to try and hold that wheel. Doesn't have to hold right on the wheel. He can stay in this distance. He's still getting 84 watts of draft. But then once that burrito starts to fall off, then he can accelerate back towards Ed. And so you got 2 in the breakaway, if you can create the right breakaway. It's very difficult to do, but you got to try. But the other option they're doing now is Ed's going to try and get away, which I'm not a fan of because they're still only guaranteeing a second place. What they really need is second and third. And they're letting their strongest rider go away. Remember what they said at the beginning? They're quite happy for Hanky to ride away because that means they haven't got their strongest rider to drive the pack. Now, what they're doing now is they're committing their strongest rider to ride away, but they need to finish second and third and hopefully a fourth or a fifth. But they're sending their strongest rider away.
Back off breeze.
Yeah.
It's got a decent gap. The Backpedal boys are on it though. Okay, so the hate train's going to chase it down. Now the situation is that the team that had the low FTP has initiated a move for riders who have got good FTP. It's not making the race easy for the sprinters. Look at the points table at the moment. If this is how things finish, then Backpedal win, which is why I like this table. Because potentially if you're in the hurt locker and you can just look down at this table and you can go, okay, this is not a winning position. We've got to change things up. Ed, you've got to just shut it down. You've got to come back and help us. This is, as Chris Horner says, don't leave your teammates. You hear the pain. David's got a nice draft. Someone else hasn't. I think it's AJ. See how split up it is. This is not easy. This is not easy at all. And just don't look at David.
I'm not going to do it.
He makes it look very easy.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
He's up.
He's up.
So, okay. So now they're telling Ed to ease off, but one thing that it was so spread out, we got Gareth off the back. Ed's got to ease off, but then the rest of the team have got to keep the power on. They can't relax.
Right.
One of their guys is off the back. 2 of them are. Push a little bit.
Gareth is hanging on there. He's 5.1.
Wanker.
Okay, so now Ed, it's very difficult for Ed to do this, but he really needed to really backed off the power. Get back to his teammates as quick as possible whilst there's a gap, because David at the moment's got 12 watts draft. He could have had 130 watts draft, and that would have really made it really difficult for Gareth to get back on.
Don't worry, mate. Took on that. Just say that.
You nearly killed him. You pushed it, guys.
So Ed just has to forget about David. Sorry, David. Ed has to forget about Raynham at the front. He needs to bring his team. No use covering at the moment because the team's in a losing position. You need to bring your team back. If you follow Raynham to the finish, the team still loses.
Closes burrito.
Alright, so Gareth is on again.
Deploy.
And this is not an easy finish to this race. It's not one for the sprinters. They're not recovered at all.
Hold on.
Need to watch out. They've got 2 in the front here. They've got 2 on the front there, haven't they?
So Backpedal's doing the right thing. Drive the
3.
pace, drive the pace.
3 on me.
The pace is on, and this is not good for Art. AJ is behind Gareth, and it's very spread out now. The pace is high.
David close.
These are big efforts to be making.
He's up.
AJ's being gapped. What happened a few kilometres ago? The mistake of a few kilometres ago is now costing. Now, I'm not saying that the outcome would have been different, but you need, if you've got the weaker team, you need to make the race as easy as possible. And when Art kicked off all of this, remember that Art kicked this off. It wasn't Backpedal. Art kicked this off, and it hurt them. AJ's back on, maybe. Yep, AJ's back on. But Backpedal have gone hard again. Ed's absolutely smashed it and closed that gap, which is, if this is a normal Zwift race, this is brilliant. But the problem is he gapped his teammates, and he's the strongest rider. I understand trying to get up there and close that gap, but in this situation where you're trying to bring your team to the finish to compete for the sprint, maybe next time, instead of smashing it to close that gap, just bring the pace up, steady, so that your weaker teammates, exactly like a time trial, literally ride this like a time trial, this end bit. Just keep the pace smooth and steady for the riders who aren't as strong, so that they don't have to keep pushing hard efforts. So now you can see the drafts drop down to 56 watts. David's doing, I'm not sure if he's doing it deliberately, he's doing a pretty good job. He's keeping that distance manageable and still providing a draft to his teammates. As I said that though, he's just done 7 watts per kilo. That was kind of good, but at the same time, if you know you've got weaker riders in the team, and you're struggling, then they're going to struggle to do that. So the gap that David's closed, and again, this has been in the shed. This is very easy to do from this angle, from this position where I'm not killing myself. So David's closed the gap down, is on the wheel, but the issue is now we've got a rider 2 seconds back. So if David didn't close that gap, potentially might have made a difference, but in the end, this is just a Zwift race. But I'm just trying to point these things out in terms of potentially what you can do if you're in a position where your team's not as strong, and don't race it like a Zwift race. Race this keeping in mind that you got teammates. You got this live ladder score, which is showing that at the moment there's 2 of your riders at the back. All right, it's at least better now. I've got 2 backpedalers and 1 rider. But the outcome is still not good though. So 23 pace 35. Okay, so David's joined back in, sitting. He can definitely be further back though. This is definitely nitpicking though.
AJ dropped.
Okay, so AJ's gone. Here we go, under the sprint. Under the 800 metres. If you're a sprinting team, a lot of people think that sprinters want lead outs. Sprinters want lead outs in real life because it keeps them away from crashes and also getting boxed in. So that's the reason why teams have lead outs, is that so someone like Koenig Quick Step or whatever they call themselves this year, if you're watching this, if you get 6 men all lined out and protect your rider, then your rider, all your riders do is just do the watts at the end. They don't have to worry about getting around other riders. They don't have to worry about corners, getting stuck in crashes. But this is the Zwift. We don't have crashes and we don't get boxed in. What a sprinter really wants in Zwift is to get to the last 200 meters doing the least amount of power as possible. They'd like to be doing 20 kilometers an hour when they get into 200 meters. And then at 200 meters, everyone gets to sprint then. And the sprinters will always win. If I'm coming to a finish, I'm not a sprinter. I've got a strongish 1 minute power, so I want to use that to my advantage. I want people to think they've got to lead people out so I can sit in the draft and then just use endurance to grind down the sprinters' power. Scott Brotherhood, one of our burrito riders, no one wants to face Scott Brotherhood in a slow race in the last 250 meters because he'll just pull your pants down every time. Okay, good 250 watts. 250 watts, 500 meters to go. This is a great spot to sit just here and save yourself 250 watts until the last 100 meters, maybe. And then that's when you hit the front with 50 meters to go. Okay, it's a long way to go. 400 meters to go without any draft. Is Zwift not Zwift is giving a draft now. It's good power. All right, still a good position for David, but has he got the legs though? Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. All right, let's have a look at the speed. Okay, 53 kilometers an hour. 53. It did drop down to 52 just before he turned, but now it's down to 51. 50. 51. Okay, so he lost a bit of speed because look at the draft. 204 watts. That's 204 watts and sprinting at 400 watts. That's a big gain. It depends on the situation. If you're racing and someone else has got steering and they cut the corner, then you want to do it. But I don't think there's a net gain. The problem is you lose that draft. If you're in front, then it's obviously the way you take it, though. Okay, so I'm pretty certain this is the way it's going to finish. So Backpedal win. Pretty good race. It was a slight mismatch, but this is ladder racing. That's the problem with Source. It's a bit messy, that finish. You can't really see everything. I think David's messaging for dinner, maybe. Getting Uber Eats.
Did he just stop riding for a bit then? He had a lot out in front.
This is always the pain of the sprint. When I went away, I forgot how hard it was. When I came back, I was absolutely dead.
It was a little unfair on paper.
Yeah. Oh, still fun.
That's the thing. Regardless of tactics and things, these guys are out, well, indoors, doing exercise,
Some of my challenges now.
having fun with their mates. That's the important thing about this. I'll try and see if I can put David's channel, David's channel on up here somewhere maybe. Otherwise it'll be in the description below. Now, if you enjoyed this, you'd like me to do a Ben in the Shed with one of your streams for the ladder races, or if you'd like me to do a video on something else. I am doing exert workouts at the moment with AI. Maybe I can make an AI video about my AI workouts. I better go. It is very late. So I'll catch you later. I need to get a good outro for Ben in the Shed. Hello and welcome to the Lanterne Rouge race breakdown videos, where I talk about thermonuclear attacks and people getting dropped.